don't care how far, I won't stop trying. I wanna be right where you are.
Hey everybody, I'm here with Casey.
Hi.
Hey. And we're driving around Bemidji today, and then we also, as you've seen, that we have our pride flags and transgender flag on here. And then so, Casey, can you tell me what our flags represent here?
Yeah, so the rainbow flag, the pride flag, it represents kind of everyone in the community, the LGBTQ plus community, or I've heard it called the GRSM community, which I like because it's very inclusive. Just anyone who feels like they're a minority because of their gender, their, who they're attracted to, and it's all about personal identity. And then the trans flag is specific to transgender people who don't feel like they align with the body they were born with, and that's me for sure. I'm a transgender woman, and it's just really nice to kind of get out there and represent for people.
So Casey, you mentioned that you're transgender, and then is there anything else interesting that people kind of get confused about sometimes because you're a lesbian?
Yeah. So, I mean, I am attracted to women, and I identify as a woman, so I feel like I can identify as a lesbian. I've heard some people say that they don't feel like that fits them, but it's kind of all what fits you, so you can self-identify, but that's what fits me really well, so.
And I think that's interesting too, because people over the years have asked me, it's just like, well, if you're a male and then you're attracted to women, then how can you become a female and then be attracted to women? Doesn't your sexual your sexual orientation, doesn't that change? Like, well, no.
Well, people stick it with it like, oh, you're straight, so if you change from male to female, you stay straight, and then it's kind of strange because for me, it's never been linked to my identity. Like, who I'm attracted to has never really been linked to my identity, or to like my gender rather. I've gotten questions like, well, why not just be a gay guy if you want to be trans? And it's like it's not the same thing. And we want to get out there and represent who we are to people. And if someone has questions, I always try to answer and explain kind of how I understand it to people. So that's one thing. Sometimes the meanings of things change over time too, and it's hard to keep up. So.
I think that's wonderful. And I really thank you for explaining to people that sometimes get confused with the LGBTQ population, and then it helps. To me, it's like a breath of fresh air for people to understand that we don't just all fit this one little box of what we're supposed to fit, or what does LGBTQIA represent, and then how do we fit into it as people. And so it's like you can see even in our own community we're very diverse, and I think that's part of the beautiful aspect of being part of the LGBTQ group.
Yeah,
and I think that's wonderful. This is what I think is fantastic. I just love that. Do you have any interesting people that stop you along the way to ask you about what these flags represent?
Oh yeah, I mean, I've made a couple of posts on Facebook about it, if maybe you guys have seen them, but I've had some really, really positive responses of people just like, hey, thanks for doing that, thanks for representing. I've had a few people who have questions. I think a lot of people understand what the rainbow flag means right now. It's on the news a lot and it gets out there, but the trans flag is not as well known, so I get questions about what it means quite a bit. And I'm always happy to explain, and I kind of welcome that with flying them. I know not everybody's up for that, but I do encourage you, if you have something that you want to kind of represent about yourself and be proud of who you are, if you have the opportunity to show it and kind of normalize it for people a little bit.
Have you, for the most part, been received warmly?
For sure, yeah. 90+% of the time, it's been really, really warm. Whether it's just someone saying, thanks for flying something that's not political, because I don't think it is. It's more personal. It's about the community and kind of acceptance and normalizing it. A couple of people, once at Burger King and once at one other restaurant, I pulled through the drive-thru, and either like the person in front of me bought my food for me because they saw the flags, or someone at Burger King bought me food once because I had the flags up. So really, it's been really positive.
Well, we're at a drive-thru right now. Let's see what happens.
Okay, we've got a petite mocha frappuccino with almond milk and no whip, and a medium London fog. That's $11.76.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
You too, thank you. Our order was paid for. So that's pretty cool. You know, there is good people in the world today. They have broadened their minds and really embraced the LGBTQ community. So, hey, just a little FYI. You want to get a free latte? Mm-hmm. All it takes is some pride flags and some transgender flags, and we're good. Yeah. So all in all, Casey, do you think the flag flying has been a positive influence to the LGBTQ plus community supporters and whatnot?
I have a hard time claiming that something small that I do has a big influence on stuff, but the response I've gotten has been great and has come from so many people. I like to think it's been really positive. So,
all right, well, we just sat back here for a little bit, and what I think is kind of amazing too is that there's been a lot of waves and a lot of thumbs up, and so I think that's a very positive reaction from the public from our area, Bemidji area. Mm-hmm. So, you know, kudos to Bemidji. But yeah, there's been a lot of positive feedback just by driving around, and something that I didn't think we're gonna be getting it so quickly. Seriously, it's been since we're like driving around, there's an immediate thumbs up and honkings and wavings and a lot of happiness. So it's been driving around with the flags has been a positive experience for me here. Yeah. And I'm very happy to be a part of this here with Casey. She's been kind enough to let me tag along and slide around the the frozen Bemidji tundra right now. All right, now we're sitting here with Casey. And then, so today actually we're going to be doing a project of the day here, which is going to be, what are we going to be doing?
Wow, we're making jewelry. You had shown some interest in maybe a set of earrings or maybe a pendant, so whatever you find most interesting, we can make. They're pretty simple stuff.
I'm all about the earrings right now because my ears are pierced. I'm not wearing any currently, but I do love to wear earrings.
Me neither. I even left out my nice matching red ones I got to go with my hair.
Oh, that would be cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I do have a couple questions for you too, Casey, as we're going along here.
Absolutely.
So when you came out to your family, how was everything received?
It was kind of a one-at-a-time process to start with, because there were certain family members I knew it was going to be positive, and I kind of needed that support, so I reached out to them initially, like my Aunt Kelly, and she was really amazing, and my other aunts and uncles have been pretty awesome. And then kind of the big one was like my mom, because I've always been super close with my mom, but it was never something I felt like I could talk about with her. I think I had sort of tried to talk about it as a kid a little bit, and just kind of wasn't rejection, but it was clearly something she didn't understand. So I just kind of put it off talking to her for a long, long time, and I got really emotional because I very rarely hide things from my family. And when I finally came out, I was crying and really broken up about it. And I think she comes from a very conservative place, so it's not something that she's super familiar with or understands. But she has been supportive, and she has been there with me. My grandma surprised me because I had not told her until I saw her in person, but she was kind of just really accepting, as at least she made me feel like one of the girls in the family, because she was like, oh, you know, you were talking about having trouble finding shoes that fit. She has like a collection of shoes because she's just collected over the years, and I was like, oh, if you want any of these, you know, you're welcome to them. And then she was giving me some hand-me-down clothes, which was nice, and it just, you know, helping me kind of get into it, and she was really nice. And then she gave me this, like, this was my grandma, she gave me the moment of, so you like wearing short shorts? That's funny, as odd as it was. It's like, yeah, it's nice in the summer to wear short shorts. But it's nice to be treated like other girls in the family, you know?
Absolutely.
Really,
I think that's wonderful. Especially with grandma. You know, it's like,
absolutely.
who talks to the grandma about short shorts? I think that's amazing. I think that is cool. Now, you mentioned you had a brother too, didn't you?
Yeah, my brother, he's 18 months older than me, but we're really close in age. We have a lot of shared interests. growing up, we would usually spend a lot of time together. My mom was in the military, so we moved around a lot.
Oh, wow.
And so my brother was kind of just constantly the person that I was friends with and the person that I fought with all the time.
As usually with siblings.
We're pretty close now. I haven't gotten a chance to spend much time with him since COVID happened either, and since I came out.
And I think this is kind of interesting because actually you're the first person I talked to about, coming out during like COVID, where we actually couldn't get together with our families, so it's like we always have those little thoughts in our mind. It's like, well, I'm going to come out to my family. And I think a lot of people don't realize it's like what it is like to come out. Sometimes it's very scary. It's very scary, and it's like, are they going to love me? Are they going to reject me? Or are they going to kick me out or say, you're not coming home for Christmas, no more birthdays, or whatever, and so those little things that kind of linger in the back end of people's minds when they're coming out, so I'd imagine you had some similar things.
I mean, I know I've heard from friends that, and it can be the worst when there's very few people in your family are going to accept you, but oftentimes you'll know if someone's going to be really negative about it, and you can kind of basically just avoid them. But it sucks, but like, if someone's going to be negative about your life and your personality and who you are and just feed you nothing but negativity the whole time, it's not good for you. It's not a healthy relationship. I'm always there for giving people a chance, and I did with my family, and I've been really, really lucky. Because there were some people I wasn't sure. Like I have an uncle who got on to me about being into My Little Pony when that was super popular, right? That was popular, and I was just like, it's cool, and lots of guys are into it, so like, what the hell does it matter? But he was just like, that show's really, whatever. And I haven't actually spent any time with him, but
I just love the fact that it's like people's like, okay, yeah, My Little Pony is what did it.
Well, it was a good little like test run, right? Like, okay, if they don't accept this, they're probably going to be pretty negative.
I think that's great.
So I think this will be kind of the place that we'll try to start here. I made these a while back. They are a pair of amethyst beads that I can get. I think they are 6 millimeter. I'm sure it says on there somewhere. And they're super affordable, so you can pick up and stuff. And then I just have some silver wire. And it's twisted up into a little pair of stud earrings and little earring backers on them. But I will kind of show you how to wrap it around and make the style that I make. I mean, there's not really a wrong way to do it, but you want it to kind of hold together a certain way.
I like that. They're really pretty. Those are really pretty. It's just like, I don't know if I can. I will do my best. I'm not going to get too close over there, but those are them.
Yeah, you can always take a close-up picture if you want to kind of spot it in there somewhere.
I can actually put it right here, right in the spot right here. I'm pointing my finger, and then the earrings will show up. There. Yep. They're going to show up. I love that. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, let's start.
Yeah, so you can kind of pick a bead. The bigger ones are a little easier to work around. They make kind of a bigger, chunkier earring, but you're welcome to some of those if you'd like.
I like the little bitty one. So what made you get into making jewelry?
I just, like any hobby, there's something that I'm interested in. So I start saving like images and references and stuff, because I mean, it started when I was a kid with like drawing. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to draw something I saw, but you can't always have like, a person or a car or whatever it was in front of you all the time. So I would find pictures of it online or pictures of it that I can save. And you should see my phone right now. I've got 11,000 images on my phone, I think. Wow. And they're organized into folders that are mostly just like reference for this project I want to do in the future. So I have a whole folder full of just like things I would like to try doing with beads and things I have done with or things I have done with jewelry and things I want to do with jewelry.
I think I'm gonna go with blue.
Yay.
Those are very pretty.
Blue is good.
All right. There was an interesting thing that we had discussed earlier was about like name. And your name was already Casey.
Yeah, that was the name my mom gave me when I was born, and it's fun because it's neutral, right? I mean, I certainly had people when I was growing up say it was a girl's name. At the time, a touch of toxic masculinity. No, it's not, but yeah, it kind of is. Vindication for all the tiny little bullies out there. No.
Absolutely.
But honestly, I really appreciate my mom for giving me a name that kind of works for both. And a ton of names can that you might not think so. Like I've met tons of girls named Jordan, or Alex or something like that. Just stuff that works both ways or has like an alternate gender shortening, like Alexis for Alex, or there's so many of that kind of thing. or even Jay, short for Jaden. There's tons of great stuff out there, and like if you're picking a name, I would encourage you to find something that works both ways. It gives you, because for me, it gave me something to hold on to as like my identity as I was kind of transitioning.
Wow.
Because I've met people who they're building it from scratch. So they basically have nothing to start with. And then sometimes it's hard to explain. Like, I'm the same person because, it was probably 15 years since I knew I was transgender until I came out. And it's a long time. I would recommend everybody else to come out sooner than that. But it was just, I didn't feel ready, and that's always part of it. But while there is some feeling in me that part of that was lying. I'm lying about who I am, or I'm letting everybody believe something that is not true. At the same time, I was always trying to be very true to myself. I was trying to express myself through my interests and what I did and the way I acted. Because I know growing up I was super negative about being a guy, and I didn't like, honestly, a lot of masculine behavior. I was talking about toxic masculinity earlier, but it's easy for that to get to be kind of a thing.
Oh yeah, because we were taught as kids. I'm a man. I'm supposed to drink beer and spit and crush cans on my head and kill animals and go hunting and whatever. I did all of that actually, but and play sports and all.
Well, I did most of it too. Yeah,
we just keep trying to put ourselves in these little gender boxes of what people think we're supposed to be. Man is supposed to do this, and women are supposed to do this, and it's like, and this is a very, very interesting dynamic of trying. It's like growing up.
There was like part of me at first that was trying to fit into that, and then there's rejecting it as much as possible, get it away from me, find something else. But at the same time, it didn't feel like I was able to come out at the time. I was very much in the mindset of, I would rather be a kind of just average guy than an ugly girl. It was just a bad mindset to be in for myself. Yeah. So I was just avoiding coming out. I didn't think there was any good option for me. But I wasn't really doing the research either. I just learned what I learned online when I was a kid, and there was not a lot of great information out there. I will say, like, if you search stuff, like the sort of thing I searched when I was a kid, like I want to be a girl, things like that, or how to become a girl, or something like when I was a kid, you'd find nothing but relatively unhealthy things. There's some fictional stories out there. There's some just purely nasty websites. And then there's just like the porn industry, which has its reflection on things, of course. But nowadays, if you search that kind of stuff, you find much more positive things, some really good information about being transgender. What it took for me to actually know I can come out, I can achieve what I want, or can at least get as close as I can to it, was meeting a transgender person like in person who was out and was willing to talk about it.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
How old were you when that happened?
3 years ago.
Oh really?
Yeah, no, it was like at Home Depot. I had someone else start working there.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, I had never. I was just set up. I had this wall between myself and the world. I was not going to come out. I was not going to do anything about it. So I had never thought to look like, hey, could I come out at work? Am I welcome here? There's certainly workplace environments that are not welcoming to it, and that's not great. I've heard some very bad things about certain companies. But Home Depot, where I have been working for the past 4 years, it was very, very accepting of both this other person and a couple other. We've had like 4 different trans people who've worked at Home Depot since I worked there.
I think that's
including
fantastic.
Me. And it's just, we just need representation, and we need it to be normal.
I hope these didn't cost money, because I've dropped a few as we've been going along. So.
It's all right.
Okay,
they cost like $6 for the whole string.
Okay, so
like nothing crazy. Where are you at?
I got it through there once.
That's probably fine.
So would you tell that struggling student, that's good enough.
No,
you tried hard.
I have made much uglier things, I promise.
So, if there was some advice that you could give like families out there, what do you think that would be?
Whenever someone is trying to come out or even when they're really young, it doesn't even have to be that young, but in the process of self-discovery, that is, trying to figure out sexuality and gender and just personal identity, I would always recommend anyone be open-minded and ready to listen to how someone feels. I think it's very easy for a label to get wrapped up in media and news and expectations. So someone might come out to you as transgender, and you have all these pictures in your head of what that looks like and what that's going to be. And I don't think that's the right way to approach it. I would recommend to always just let that person explain what it means to them, because being trans looks different for everyone. Being gay looks different for everyone. Being a lesbian looks different. It's and the other thing, I see people themselves finding a label for themselves that they feel like fit, and then they build a box around that, and they don't let themselves venture out of it. When I think it is a process of self-discovery where we all kind of have to do a little bit of exploring and a little bit of just being accepting of who someone is on their terms and willing to listen to what they have to say about themselves.
I think it's amazing, because as I talk about like our journeys of self-discovery, it can be scary. It can be scary, exciting, and sometimes lonely, because it's, you're not sure if people are going to be around, or who do I come out to, are they accepting, or am I safe? And if you had some advice to give to some of the younger trans generation, the transgender, what would you want to say?
Be open to exploring who you are, and understand that none of us are happy with the body we get. We're kind of an experiment in biochemistry every time there's a new person born. And, whether you're cis or trans, it's easy to be unhappy with how much you weigh, unhappy with how you look, unhappy with your voice. And I think being trans, there's a temptation to try and build this perfect person to fit into, when the process of transitioning for me and doing hormones, and it's kind of like a secondary puberty, and just kind of letting my body develop naturally, and it's amazingly informative to who I am, and I hope it might be for you.
I like the way you say that. Puberty is difficult as it is, but it's different if it fits you. That's
well, that's what I see.
Important.
That's what I saw in my brother. It was just like every change. Oh, you have facial hair now. Oh, you have, whether it's muscles are easier to get, or it's just certain things with testosterone. My brother, it was just like, it was the phrase is like gender euphoria is something that I have heard. It's fantastic when you feel it. And my brother was clearly all about that going through high school. I was not. I was not okay with it. It was just, it's wrong. Like the way, it just doesn't fit me. It doesn't feel right. And then turning off the testosterone and then starting estrogen and the various different things that you can do. It is a really profound change in just the way you think and the way that your emotions kind of connect to you.
Did it feel more suiting?
For sure, yeah. No, it feels right for me in a way Beautiful. That it just testosterone never did. Yeah.
Do you feel like it was like sometimes people when they talk about like the LGBTQ, it's like, well, you can just choose not to be gay, or you can just choose not to be lesbian, or you can just choose not to be bisexual, or you can choose not to be transgender. It's just like, do you feel like this was a choice that we have had growing up? But also, it's like, do you feel like there's a choice for you to be transgender?
Yeah, see, absolutely not. Coming out, like obviously I'm nervous, I'm stressed, but I was lucky enough to have a job that accepted me. It may take some effort to find that before you come out. I encourage you to make sure you have a safe space, whether it's just finding trans people in the community and asking where they've worked that's accepting, or just kind of asking, when you go to an interview, ask about it, Being out, being yourself, expressing who you are on your own terms is the most gratifying thing I've ever done. And I could never go back to hiding that every day. You know, maybe I got lucky with Bemidji, Minnesota. I mean, I certainly hear people who say that they don't enjoy this town. They think it's really a small town and has a lot of conservative people in it. But I think that I've had an overwhelmingly accepting kind of just experience. And
wonderful. I'm happy to hear that. I started making these videos for a reason. To help people understand the LGBTQ plus Two-Spirit community. To understand that we have more similarities than we do differences. We have hopes, dreams, fears, and a passion to understand who we truly are. We have family, friends, and a longing for a warm, safe place to call home. We are your community. You see us at the store, you see us at work, and even the drive-thru. If you have a question for us, ask. Who knows? You might make a new friend. And have a great day.
yeah, thanks for watching.